I'm
This
recording.
is so good what you're saying.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, people just so I show it again, this is that number one piece with a crayon and watercolor. This is Crayola watercolor. Nothing big, and I wrote on there, nothing is perfect. You'll see that a lot in the first few ones. I write it. I've painted it a few times, and it just comes from a concept. My first business was nothing created, with like a Zen idea of those places where you're stopped. It's because you have something in the way. If we kind of put nothing there, it'd be perfect. It'd be a great space to start. And so that square kind of in there just kind of like was a great place to start, and that was it. So yeah, so that's number one, and I have a little raffle going on in the background. So like I'll spin this wheel in a while, and like we'll see who wins that. There's tickets bought and everything, so your names are already in there. I had to learn technology for this, but I want to show you. When I was working with those, I wanted to know colors, and one of the things I started to learn was how to layer on colors. It was one of the first lessons I learned, which was putting dark colors down first, and then slowly bringing up the light. Don't put yellow down and then the green on top, like it's going to just like fall out there. And so that was just really cool. So you'll see me in the next few pieces coming in, and like here I am with some green, just making some little grass, and I still am putting that nothing is perfect on there. And again, this is just Crayola stuff. Did it again with pink, orange, and little yellow, and I'm starting to learn that the colors kind of blend together, and I'm really loving that like this color kind of just gets created in here. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, whoa, this is kind of neat, It starts to trip me out a little bit. And it's around this time that I really start to explore just a little bit more color. Here I'm adding blues in again, and then adding just a little bit of pink, or I think it was maybe red. And I learned this day that the more water you add, the more you can lighten it up. And that was just a really good lesson. This one was I messed up and still learned how to make colors and still how to swirl a few things in there. And so really just kind of neat things. I didn't really like get a lot out of it. The first few days I was working with my friend Rose, and I wish she was here tonight, but I inspired her somehow in it, because I said, you got to make shitty art, before you make excellent art. Like you got to just get that out of your system. And so you just got to make art every day. And so I did all that, and it's really great. All those pieces are bought. So like Margot, thank you. Those are going to you tomorrow. But I just kept going through. And so the next few pieces of art, you'll see just with that same kind of style. I'm just kind of like throwing paint down and adding it together. And I started learning how to like do wet on wet, and then add some color, and then like blend together with some water. I've noticed going through these like in preparation that I start to like really like just blending colors, and that's it. I don't like adding a lot of form to my painting. Sometimes I'll have like big blotches, or I'll start to draw something, then I'll just kind of like white it out so you don't see it anymore. So I think those were words in the beginning, but I don't know what words they were. Around this time, I started processing. Where I work at a place, a trauma and recovery center, and we do an hour of art therapy every day, and with our groups. It's an intensive outpatient program. And so while working with the groups, I like to just process my own stuff. The prompts are right there, and I had my paint, so might as well do my work. And so a lot of it starts to just like move in that fashion after a bit. And just right into that place, I started to kind of look around. And one of the things I really started to like was this wet on wet idea. I did this thing the first day. I was like, taking a straw, kind of blowing paint around, bored that day, not knowing what to do. And then I just took some water and made some designs, and just clear water, and then added paint to the bubble, and then spent the rest of the hour watching this paint dry. And it was just really interesting. Like everybody's in there doing their art process. I'm listening to my clients going around, and I'm just waiting for this like bubble of paint to dry. because I have to move it at some point. I didn't think about that. And so, but it became like this like fascination. So I did it again here. This is one day it messed up. It's like my 12th painting. And so I kind of just like rubbed it with paper. I learned that, you can actually smear things. Around this time, I watched a video of an artist who was talking about some paintings, and they're like, how do you get that effect? And he goes, well, I hated these paintings, so I threw them out the window and I left them there over the winter in the snow. And then when I picked them back up, they looked so good, I put them on the wall. So I've learned that like sometimes just smudging stuff really is good. And I really like this painting. I love this like messy effect sometimes too. It starts to go in there. And then the next one with that bubble effect, I started to do these tea cups. And so I really love this. I just like, this is a small teacup I have for tea leaf reading. And I just got the whole thing wet with water and turned it over right on the page, and then added some paints that I was feeling. I think I was drinking a floral tea that day. That's where the colors are coming from.
Did you like trace around it, or how did you do that?
Yeah, so literally like I took the glass of water, like the edge, and dipped this in water, and then put it on the paper.
That is really cool.
And then lifted it up. And then I took a little bit more water. So sometimes I added a little bit more water to the bubble just to fill it in a little bit more. That would be later on. I've done it a couple times. We did a Mad Hatter's Tea Party last fall, and I did it again. It's pretty neat. But yeah, I just did that and then added a little paint.
And then it looks like you did a little tiny one over on the side.
Yeah, because when I lifted it up, it dropped some water over there. So I just figured,
that changes the whole way I see that one. That is really neat.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of action. And then around this time is when I finally upgraded. I was like, all right, you've painted seriously for 13 days now. That's 2 weeks. You're allowed to buy yourself some paint. And so I bought this set right here. It was really cool. It was a half off. It was really amazing. I learned what pigment was. That's a thing. It's like amazing. And from that, getting those paints, it just upped my game. This was really, really clear. Really just love this one.
I love that too.
Yeah. I'll try to get some light up in here too. There we go.
Your light's good. Your light's
Okay, good. Awesome. And then this is my coffee cup. I have one coffee cup that, like, if you've ever been a roommate of mine, I've gotten better. I usually tell people don't look at it, don't touch it, don't wash it, don't think about it, because I just don't want it to break. It's my coffee cup. So one day I took my coffee cup and did it with that. I really loved it. I really love this red, orange, yellow look. It starts to show up a lot. Around this time, I was working with a lot of anger, and I was reading a book, Love and Rage. It's a path of liberation through anger, and just kind of going through a lot of that processing at the time. And so reds and yellows start to show up as just that moment in there. The next few paintings that we have are literally just me going through the work, just kind of moving through. This one was done. I feel like a lot of fairies are brain chemicals. I think the prompt that day was neuroplasticity. And so I was thinking of brain cells. And I remember that little, like, you could take a straw and kind of move things around. And so I was trying to do that there. This was a failed attempt at blending color. I don't know what I was doing, but it's kind of there. At this time, I'm watching people around me in different places. Now, we have some clients that are amazing where I work, and they're all using acrylic. And I'm like, oh, that looks so much cooler. But I was like committed to watercolor. And yeah, you'll just see me kind of going in and trying to figure out how to blend. At this moment in time, I don't realize that I'm using way too much water, and there's just a lot going on. So I have like this series. I think this was all done in one day. I think I did all like, I was probably about like 157 paintings by 100 days. Because some days I just sit down and do a few more. Yeah, here's this one. I think from different angles. And then I would started to come in and just kind of pick colors and try to blend each day. So like you'll see me, this is me really just like not knowing what to do. And I love this part. Yeah. And then around here, I think this is about the time. Yeah, because I start to get into like the greens. I love the greens in here too. I do learn a few things how to keep it in there. And about this time is when I just throw away my Crayola set completely because I had it at work and I didn't have the other ones with me. And I completely switch over to the better pigments. And I start coming back to those same types of paintings here. Here we go. So it's the same colors, but you see better brush strokes, a lot more texture to it. This is me trying to paint something on fire. I still keep coming in and just kind of like moving color around. And then about this time is when this shows up and I make this really cool spiral. I really love this spiral. I started doing these a lot more. You'll see a few more throughout the night. This spiral kind of movement, I love spirals. There's a great book called The Signs of Life. I forget the name of who it's by, but it talks about these 5 shapes, spiral, square, cross, triangle, and circle. And they show up in every religion, every culture, every history of humankind. And they pretty much mean the same thing. And when you put them in certain orders, they kind of show where you're at in life. And so spiral is all about journey and, you know, being in like a recovery center a lot. It's a lot of that process of like where I'm at all the time. And so I always feel myself here. Usually when prompts are like, you know, what's grounding, I'll start doing spirals. But I really just love the spirals. Every time I look at them, I see new stuff. Around this time, I got asked by an artist in Cruces to put in a piece for a little mosaic that they were putting together, and I did a spiral piece, which was really cool in there. So it looks like kind of like a thumbprint too. Okay, Bethany, awesome. That is number 32. If you'll just write that number down.
It totally looks like a thumbprint.
Doesn't it?
Wait, are we supposed to say when there's one we want?
Yeah, if there is one you want, let me know. Pause me. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, wait, because I have one
Go
like
back.
that one that was the green one, circle one. I think it was green circle.
Yeah.
I don't know what number it was.
This one right here.
Yeah, I really like that.
Number 14.
That's so cool.
Okay. All right. So there we go. And then I come back, and this day I learned like just kind of like splotching, which is kind of cool. Love this kind of like effect here. I'm really excited now because like I'm going to show you this piece I just did this week later on, and I'm noticing like everything I've learned and how I put that in there. So here's this. And then around this time, we are doing some art therapy at work, and I did a piece. It was a week long. We're talking about window of tolerance, like when you're in those triggering moments. What's it like? How does it feel? And how do you get back inside of like a window that's manageable? And I'm just gonna put some information over here in the chat too. Just in case people want that. If you are purchasing art, you can just send me the number, and the pay links are over there. Oh, someone is admitting. Wendy is. I'm gonna let her in too. It's a good time. And it's 6:31. Time is going fast. We're not even like halfway through the deck. Okay, welcome, Wendy. Hello. Awesome. Well, we are going to keep on plugging through. So yeah, so I started doing these windows of tolerance, and I don't have the set with me, but there's this whole like series I did around this time, and it wasn't part of the 100. I think it was like after I did 100 or something. I went through and did them, but one of the pieces that came out of that was this memory that I had. And so we share in our program that if you're painting about it in art, your brain's ready to process it. And I really love that, because one of the things that I had outside of my window of tolerance was these nightmares I had. And I painted a lot of dreams, like a lot of dream stuff came through me. And so I painted this picture of my mountains that I grew up with, the Oregon Mountains. I feel like I'm a kid when I'm in there. But one of the things I like about it is I got to learn just a little bit about how to do a little bit of shading and some of that detail work. I learned I don't like detail work in that. But when I put this piece with all the rest of the ones in the window of tolerance one, it's really cool to just see it show up against all those other pieces in there. Around that time, I was really playing with this colors of purple, blue, and red. I teach a lot of emotions work. And so I like these like bruised emotions, like when you're angry and you're hurt and you're a little fearful in there. And so this also has a few pieces I'll show up a little bit later with these color combinations. I finally made a rainbow. I'm gay. Like, I don't know how it took me till card number 35 to make a rainbow. That was really fun to just kind of blend some stuff together. Again, you see the not control where things come out. I was so upset. And it just like the little bit of green going through, but it's really neat to just see like those colors in there. And I think it was during that moment when I started to notice what it's like when it goes out. And this piqued an interest in me. I've had this dream since I was about 3 years old. I've always wanted to paint it and express it. It's an anxious dream. And what it is it's this canvas of nothing. And I don't know how to explain nothing, but like, it's nothing. There's no thingness to it. It's like not white, but like clear and empty, and just this experience. And it's really blissful in this space. And then in this dream, things would start to show up: sound, noise, little bits of color. And it just kind of started to get like cramped in there in the nothing. You know, it's like we had space before. And so it was kind of go in and out. And I've had that dream waking as an adult maybe a couple times, but wanting to paint it one day, I did this guy. And I would do this a few times and other ones, but like here I started to learn how to just kind of dab the paint, and you really can't see it here. But I really like it because it has some, like, if you feel it with your finger, like you can feel the nothingness of or the somethingness of it. And so I was like really glad that I could like pull that out into it.
That's nothing.
Well, this is nothing. This is something coming through nothing.
That's really neat.
Yeah. At around this time, I got bored and I wanted to paint like other painters. I went to I think something opened up, and so we got to go to the flea market or an artist market, and I started to see other watercolor artists, like real artists painting. And so I bought a couple pieces, put them in my office, and went online and started to look at like other things I could do. And so one of the things I did, I found this like little tutorial how to make this really cool like little branch with like crows on it, and learning how to make these like behind scenes, you know, like, you know, it looks like a little night sky, you know. That was pretty neat to like learn how to make a little backdrop. Now, again, I don't like detail. So as soon as I was like, but then I found this tutorial and it was really neat. It was how to make these little moons, and really excited about that. Here in a second, you're going to see me make 8 of them in a row because I just love them so much. And then I found this one right here, which was like this like watering hole with these fishes and dolphin, and just kind of in there swimming around. And I just really love this. I loved the video that I have. I have it bookmarked on my YouTube. Just kind of like, you know, it looks like you're there, like you're peering down into that little hole. I love this piece. So I just painted holes for a while. This one, I did a green one.
Was that the brown one?
Yeah, you'll see a brown. Yeah, I did another blue one, a blue one, another blue one, and that's the brown one.
Okay. What is the brown one? Like the brown one is just like a brown.
I was thinking, I was around this time I was reading a book It's called The Secret Knowledge of Water. It talks about water in the desert. And so I was thinking about finding like some old desert watering hole and how like even that would be kind of great at that moment. Got some green ones. I go hiking a lot, so yeah. Then I just found purple, like, you know, you have to just go there. If I'm gonna keep going in, another black one. These ones were like really, really nice. And a lot of these, yeah, Margot, go ahead.
I'd like to buy the one with the fish.
With the fish. All right, I'm putting up this
The
side.
blue one. Excuse me, the blue one.
She's like, the blue one, I want it.
And
There we
I
go.
want the brown one.
And you want the brown one, there we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, there we go. They're like hotcakes. All right, yeah. So one of these things too is as I'm going through a couple days ago on a call that Cami and Lori and I are on sometimes, someone was talking about portals and portals of energy. And in the last few months, I've been painting a lot of portals, and a lot of those swirls started to kind of create these little portal effects. And so I've been doing this type of work, and so I'll show you a few in a little bit later, but it's kind of neat to do that as like a way of energy coming through. I think those spirals and those circles started to like have me see things that I don't know how to explain it. It was like an immediate expression in the body that even if I was dealing with something painful, I could like be with this picture and it would kind of like give you something, like you were pulling something from it. You could stare at it for a while and it would like give you that space. I'm still not a good artist at this point, I think. Hold on, let me get Whitney in here. So I'm gonna grab a sip of water. Welcome, Whitney. We're just going through, we're on, where are we at? We just went through like the first 50 paintings here. After the first 50 paintings, I was really happy that I'd done that much. And I realized I never painted a tree. So one day I painted trees and trees that didn't paint. Yeah, I know, really great, right? I gave up on trees because again, I don't know why. But then one day, it was a snow day up here in Silver City. And so we didn't have to go to work. And I was so excited. So I sat down and taped 8 cards to a piece of paper, and I made all of these moons. Just like kept making them. Some of them look like bananas, but it was just such a fun experience to make all these moons out here. And I finally, at the end, because they were all kind of blue in there, I made some black ones just toward the end to kind of, you know, play with something different. Really liked just the technique that they used. I followed a video a lot. And then after I got the video, one of the things I learned as a kindergarten teacher in preparation for all that, you can do deliberate practice. So practicing the same technique over and over and over again repetitively, you'll get to do it. You'll like become that bike rider. You know, you don't just like get on the bike once and then 3 months later get on the bike. You get on the bike for like the whole day and play with it, you know? So I figured like with those types of techniques, I wanted to just like, let's do 8 in a row. And that became a big process. You'll see the next technique I learned was how to make these really cool salt moons. So there's like salt thrown on afterward and then kind of scraped off. There's a lot of different planets I made, some different color along the way in there. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see.
You put like real salt on there.
Real salt, yeah. And then it was like cool because like different salts, we have like pink Himalayan salt will change the color of the paint as well. And so it'll add different stuff. There's Africa in there too, that's nice.
So did you take an art class for those different techniques, or you were just playing around?
Yeah, I didn't. I watched some on YouTube videos, and the rest was me sitting in an art therapy group with my clients 4 days a week. We do have an art therapist teacher there who used to be a tattoo artist. He did teach me a few things along the way, like this fatigue. And I was like, how do I make these long straight lines? I don't know how to do that. And he would say, like, there's this moment where when you're making a line, your hand gives out and you have to start over again. And I'm like, oh, I remember that from handwriting. Like, okay, you have to like be comfortable a little bit. So I learned what those strokes were. So like he'd give me a few little techniques here and there, or I'd go online and look at some stuff, but really just kind of playing around along the way, getting inspired.
And if anyone wants to see or Whitney wants to see the first 50, she can listen to the recording.
Yeah, I'll make sure that gets out to people. Around this time, I get introduced to metallic paints, and I make those same wells again, but they start to look like this. So they kind of go up. There's one here. These ones were kind of not the best ones in there. There's a couple along the way, because I just started to learn how to use these metallic paints. I learned that there was one type I just didn't like. It wasn't that great. And then there was this one that came in, this spiral, and I don't know if you can see it, but it just shines and pops and sparkles.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, and I just love it. There's little thumbprints in there too. Kind of just goes all the way in. The same day I made this, I had a bunch of leftover ink, and so I just got really inspired and made this guy. It's like my little star piece. The perspectives in it just look so great. I always think of like just what it would look like to be in a virtual reality where I could spin the stars around. I don't know if it goes this way or that way. It's this one right here, I made another one. It was like a mess up, and then just kind of just added in that swirl. I kept making these swirls over and over again. You see this one, using metallics, I started to make that swirl again, and I started to notice that there was like these hooded figures that were showing up at the top. And so I just started to add a little bit more water, a little bit more pigment. Using one pigment, I would darken it in. And so like here, you'll see, sometimes I wish I was religious, because you see like the women that are just there in the
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
little goddess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
Yeah, and there's like 3 of them in there. It's just really kind of cool. And so like I just kind of like, I saw it, and then I just kind of added just a little bit more, just kind of bring it in.
That's metallic.
Yeah, metallics, these oh my goodness, I should just sell the paints. That's what I should do. This is like my favorite set. I would use this over and over again. I got it on sale. It has like these beautiful metallics, and one of the great things I learned then, if you've done like paint pours, and Cami has introduced me now to these high flow acrylic paints, but it has the same effect that when I would be painting with it, doing like wet on wet, and I add the metallic in, it would like move the paint and like make it have a mind of its own. And I started to really like that, because now I'm like, okay, chaos, let's bring it on. The next few paints are just me playing with really good pigments, with really good metallics, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Really just loving the shine of things. I do another one of these cool little spirals again.
Yeah, we could see the metallic when you do that with the light.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it gets really good. This one I got mad at. And so there's like a spiral, and then it's like, I wipe my hand through it a few times. Love getting angry at paints, you know? Here I'm playing with red. I think it's Valentine's Day around now. Or maybe it's later than that. No, it has to be. But someone said red. I finally painted a heart on something. I felt so cheesy doing it. I had to judge that, I'm not good at making hearts. Then this one came out, and I really love this. If you've ever watched like the Rainbow Fish, the book, this just reminds me of the Rainbow Fish and the little pieces of it. And it's so cool to go through it. Really love this piece. I want to show you, break away from the show really quick. Not around that time, but because I love those colors so much, they became a processing tool. So like I made this one right now. One time it says, "What's that sound?" This is from a trauma response I had one day. I'm still scared. Just kind of getting some emotions. This is one of my faves, personal faves. Fuck it. And around these times, like with those same colors in combination, one day just painting, just trying to play with the brush, play with movement, not looking at anything, this guy showed up.
Oh,
It's like jellyfish, right? And I don't paint anything, like it just showed up in the painting one day, like didn't even know what I was doing, and just to see it kind of move and play, it really does just come to life, so like even though I'm making these postcards along the way, like these like little pieces of art start to show up that I wasn't expecting. Toward the end, I went back. I think we're at number 87 now. I wanted to just kind of see what I learned. Around this time, I have more paints. This time I didn't make a circle. I just drew a circle. It's not a really good circle, right? But those metallics in there, they start to like really blend. I really start to love this wet on wet action. I play around more with these pastel colors. I think by this time the art therapist is really liking, the one that I work with is really liking the metallics. We've already like bought these other paints. We've been sharing stuff now. I made this guy. There was a mistake, and so I just kept adding little spikes coming out. Again, with those metallics in there, really good. This day, I forgot what the prompt was, but some days I started to notice when I had prompts of days I didn't like, I'd choose colors I didn't like or color schemes. And so like, this is an ugly color. I know I'm not liking it, but when I look at it afterward, I really love the ugly days. Cause you just
green is my favorite. Green is my favorite color, so I love those colors.
I know, I've learned to love green and browns. They're just so beautiful in there. Here's more of that purple. Again, I love these little emotions in there. And I think I just have a few more of these. I want to show you the last week of the year when I finally got to my final 5. I was like, what am I going to do? These are me playing with some reds, oranges, a little spiral. I'm kind of getting like antsy about my last few days, and I know that this is number 95, and like my last week I had 5 left to go, and that week the art therapist, we've been talking about stuff, and he was going to build a tarot deck. And so I was talking about how I wanted to make some type of oracle deck for myself, and I was really interested in like different shapes and meanings, and so I started to play around with that. And so one of the first ones was I chose a style for my last 5 ones to do. My favorite style was wet on wet, putting that water down, adding the metallics, and just letting it dry. And so my last 5, I just chose some shapes I really liked. And one of those shapes was this rune, a nice rune of protection. And I really just love it. It's really nice wisdom in it. Around that time, because about sacred journey and spiraling, I love those spirals. So this is here, and it's kind of a combination of a spiral and a Reiki symbol. I didn't want to like give away the Reiki symbol, so I kind of just added it into the spiral, adding just a little bit of more. My hand was really jittery here. I don't know why. This is just a symbol that was in my head that day. I don't know why. And so I just did it, and it felt like it needed to be painted. And so this one was right in there. I've come to like paint this a few other times in there, because it just kind of comes to me as like a healing symbol that was given to me. 99 was the number 11, and 11 is just my birthday's 11/11. That's not a plug. But 11 is just a really good number. That's about gateways. It's about like transference and moving through. And my last painting, my favorite painting, which if I sell it, or when we sell it, I'm going to open it up for $100 and like people can bid from there. I thought about this all week long, and as I'm going through these, I'm like waiting for number 100 because I really just can't wait to see it happen. And I was so happy that day that the card I wanted to embody in my 100th card was happiness. And so I'm going to show it to you really quick. And that's it right there. I know. And it's done with that same metallic in there. Really love it. I wish I could find a way to like capture this and make like a shirt out of it or something like that, because it's just like my favorite smile. So yeah, so that's my first 100 paintings. I want to take a moment. I'm going to grab a sip of water. Any questions or anything you want to say, or I'll do that while I take a sip of water.
Can I see the rainbow fish one again?
Yes. If I can remember where it's at, right?
I think it's 85 or 86.
I don't think that's on the list of them that you put.
I haven't put it in. Yeah, 86 right there.
Okay, wait. Okay. That is really cool.
Mhm. I'll also show you, I'm getting ready to, so my next thing I'm going to do is I need to get some things in frames, but I'm wanting to do this portals show. I want to show you a few of them. I'm going to make a purple one to go with this, but around those times I made these 4 different emotion cards. So like blue, red, yellow, green, with those spirals in there. These have a mixture of metallics and everything in there. So they give these like 3-dimensional effects. And I love mandala work. So it feels like you're kind of like in the mandala. And I'll show you this one too. This was another one that really just popped my eye. This one will be in my portals.
Oh, that one's beautiful.
Yeah, this will be in my portals one because I don't know what I want to do with this one, but it's a, I was reading the book Braiding Sweetgrass, and there's a chapter on goldenrod and asters, and it was just so beautiful in my head. And like when you look at this, like it jumps off the page, like it looks like the flowers are kind of moving right in there. Yeah, campfire.
That one had metallic in it too, didn't it?
Yeah, I started doing a lot of metallic work in there. I really love metallics. I'm wanting to do this. I'm trying to get something down now, but these are like a stained glass piece where like there's metallics in there too. I just bought some Yupo paper that's translucent. And so I'm going to try to tape that out and then put it into glass, and then you can put it in your window and like shine some stuff through. And then I'm gonna
So I have a question, and then I'll continue after that. But my main question is the postcards that you're painting on. Is it a certain type of paper, or what is that exactly?
Yeah, so the postcard paper, oh my goodness, I just had it around here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I just bought a bunch of decks. They were on sale. And so it's a deck of postcards. They have like postcards on the back, but it is watercolor paper, a really good professional quality. If you're used to watercoloring, it does resist the water just a little bit. So, you know, you have some time to play with it. You have a time to like move it around a little bit. You don't have to, I don't know. It's not like Walmart watercolor paper. Let me say that.
Right, right,
It's a step
yeah.
above.
Well, and I wanted to add too that I appreciate you sharing this, you know, with everybody. It's been so inspiring for me. I had started painting a while back, and I kind of got stuck, and I haven't done it for a while and stuff. So it's inspired me, you know, to try to get back into that some more and stuff. And of course, I've enjoyed seeing all of your paintings that you've shared online and stuff. And I love that there's so many different techniques in there, and they're all different in their own, respect, and I just really appreciate it. So thank you. And I've enjoyed looking at all of your art.
Thank you, Whitney. Yeah, and I have to thank Cammie. Cammie and I had a play date a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. And we just 2 hours, we sat down with paints and played. And I got to see how she painted. And in my world, Cammie's like the thing when it comes to artists. And so when I saw how she played, I went, wait, I play like that. Thank you for the inspiration. And I want to share this piece. I'm actually sending this to Cammie soon, so she gets to see it for the first time here. She sent me these paints, and so I've been like adding to my watercolor technique. And so this right here is this new portal I made. And I start to make those spirals, but then I add these high flow acrylics into it that really move everything. And just really loving the space of it. A lot of like bruised emotions still in there. I think this is one. I don't know if I can. I can't show it. I'm making these stained glass ones now that really just kind of neat. And so yeah, more art is coming. Thank you so much, because when I have people at art shows, it makes me want to do more art shows. So thank you.
Thank you.
I am going to say, if you do want a piece, I can stay on afterward, and I can give you those links if you want to like pay. I need to get your address really quick so I can send them off tomorrow. But before we go, we have a raffle for I know you have to do the raffle thing. If you say you're going to do it, you have to do it. We have the raffle for that first piece. Now, I was so happy. So like one of the things I did with this art show, and anybody doing this can take this model and run with it. I wanted to say that my first 100 pieces were valued at $1, $2, $3, $4, all the way up to 100, because I get to set the price of what I think it's valuable at. And as I've gone up, it's been really nice to see that. And so like I think of my art a little differently that way. So it's really great to have that. And if you are working with new artists, tell them like how much it's worth, pay those good artists. I think I've spent so much on Etsy this last week with artists I love, because they're worth it. So but yeah, so it's really great to just have that myself, and to go through that, like, how can I charge? Who am I? I didn't go to art school. All those things I had to wrestle with. Actually, I do an art processing group, and the day that I pushed that I was going to do this show, I made this little drawing with crayons. Like anytime I'm doing like childhood emotions, and I drew this picture of myself with all my thoughts. It's like, look what I can do. Do you like it? Am I good enough? Like, and then I looked back at it and I went, wow, I can draw myself a whole lot better than I did when I was a 5-year-old. So that self-critic does go away after a while. And I think that's one of the best things I've learned out of this paint project. And I'm just moving on now. So, all right, let's see what I got. I have to make sure. So one of the great things about this art show is that every single person that bought a ticket gets their name on the wheel. And when I told Margot about this, she says, well, I'm buying 25 tickets to the show. So I was like, but we only have 100 seats. And she goes, yeah, I'm buying 25 of them. And so I was like, all right, that's how capitalism works. I guess it's a limited space now. So I'll take it. So that's what we're doing there. So I'm going to show you this screen. I'm going to share my screen so I can be fair. All right. So you'll notice on the screen here that Margot's name is all over this wheel in greens, yellows, colors. So Whitney, maybe that's one of your good luck there. But we're going to go through and spin the wheel and see who wins. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Margot. Well, it's the one time I didn't spell your name right. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Now
so
I can-
Margot, you
That's
won
awesome.
my first piece. Thank you.
Now I can say I own your first 5 pieces of art that you've
There
made.
you go.
And then plus another one.
That's right. Margot actually
it.
owns the first piece of art I ever gave away to anybody. So you'll have to hunt her down for that someday. But thank you all for joining me tonight. If you want to stay and purchase anything afterward, I'll be here. I'm going to put some stuff in the chat.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Wow.
That's Joshua.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that says some new arts I've been doing with these little cells, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm going to pause the recording. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You know, it's nice to